Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah, salatu wassalamu Rasulullah Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sallam. Amma ba'd. My brothers in Islam, inshallah. Every so often I like to bring an issue that I think that we, not to say that we're neglecting, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. I don't know everybody's issue, but I know how, when I contemplate off the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ and what's been said and all the circumstances around me, I try to read the signs and I look and try to equate what is going on around us and how Islam addresses it. So I'm always revisiting the issue of what is causing the masters of Bani Adam to go astray, and one of the main issues that I find is the fact that the evil that exists in the world, the test that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us from the time of our parent Adam alayhi salam and Hawa, said that do not, remember that the shaitan is an open enemy to you, and take him as such. Do not follow the footsteps of the enemy. Beware, seek refuge with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from the lure, from the whispering of the shaitan. I mean, all these things, being a tactician as I am, a tactician in respect of studying the art of war, my martial art training and my tactical training and so forth, and my mentality in terms of my mindset in respect to things around us and how we're at war in all aspects, of spiritual war, moral war, and physical war, and so forth. So you say, what is the most advent thing that plagues us, and that's having an extreme amount of effect on you as an individual, and your family, and the people around you, and so forth, and the population at large. So I said that the Islam teaches me, the study of war teaches me, the art of war teaches me, know your enemy. In Islam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, no shaitan. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, inna shaitan aduwwun mubin. Inna shaitan, surely shaitan, the devil, is an open enemy. He's a clear enemy. Mubin means he's a clear enemy. He's not a stealthy enemy. He's a stealthy enemy in terms of how he comes to us, but we recognize him. We recognize shaitan. We recognize the signs of shaitan, the mentionation of shaitan. We recognize everything that comes to us that's good and everything that comes to us that's evil. We're not oblivious to it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us a mechanism so that we can be assured, and hopefully having knowledge of these things is bliss, and virtues. And the thing about it is that we have to come to an understanding about these things. So for me, trying to be a warrior for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and so forth, it helps me to understand that I need to know my enemy. I need to know my enemy, and I need to know him clear. You understand? And that's the idea. So I go into the aspect of the Quran, and I understand the Quran, and I try to understand the Quran in the matter that has been prescribed. Okay, I have to bring it up because you came now too late, right? So this is what I come up to in Surah Al-An'am, the cattle, and in the 112th ayat, it speaks about that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent to every prophet, every messenger, he sent him, he assigned an enemy to them, and he's pinpointed the enemy of shaitan is the jinn, and then it says insanu shayateen, and the devils shayateen, not shaitan. I mean, it comes from the same root, but shayateen of men. So I said, I always understood that, and I came back, and I'm coming back to it. And then when I address it more, I can see that we not only have to fight against and be aware and conscientious of the jinns, the spiritual jinns, the demons, the jinns that we do not see, that we know that exist, and that we know has a very profound effect on our existence, but also the human devils. And sometimes we don't equate that. We say, "Oh yeah, man, he act like a devil." But the human devils and the shayateen, the emphasis is placed mostly because those are the human devil has a more direct and outward and overt effect on us. So what I was saying is that I went into that. So I want to build up the case. I'm not gonna convey everything that I'm dealing with about this subject in this setting. I always try to do is build up on it. So I want to build up on it because I think for me it's very important. For all of us, it's very important. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is conveyed. It's very important. Do not let, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, "A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim," in its meaning, do not let the shaitan do what he did to your parents by luring them and that causing them to disobey and then ejecting them. They were evicted from the Jannah. They were evicted because they allowed shaitan to lure them, to distract them, to deceive them. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is warning us, do not let what caused your parents to be ejected from the Jannah. Do not allow shaitan to do the same that he did to your parents. So that's a warning, and that's something profound in respect to how we need to focus and concentrate on that. So in the beginning of my subject, I want to dwell on the fact that in the Tafsir of Ibn Kathir, he deals with this issue in this particular ayat. So when it's dealing, the introduction to it is that every prophet has an enemy. Now, when it talks about the prophet, it's talking about mankind. It's just that the relationship. Now, we're talking about the prophets who are directly guided by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and protected and so forth, and who are directly connected to Allah. They have enemies. So what it's embarking on is that the same enemy that they have, we have as well. It's just that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protects them from the particular enemy, although he protects them, but they're still affected by it because they have to not only fight against the human enemy, but they have to fight against the shaitan enemy, which is the human enemy against the truth, is a product of the shaitan. And remember, Iblis, as called according to the tafsir, Iblis had offsprings as well. You understand? And the people who are engrossed, and this is what it's dealing with, who are engrossed with evil, become human shayateens. They become human devils because they're so embodied. The embodiment of evil is ingrained within them to that extent that they become an agent of shaitan. So here the Tafsir of Ibn Kathir says, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, just as we made enemies for you, O Muhammad as-salatu salam, who will oppose and rebel against you and become your adversaries, we also made enemies for every prophet who came before you. Therefore, do not be saddened by this fact. Now, the idea that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says they will oppose, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he's warning them, and they become their enemy adversaries. So who we're talking about? We're not talking about just the jinns. We're talking about human people. We're talking about humanity. There's some parts of humanity that opposes the messenger of Allah. So he's talking about those type of enemies among mankind. And here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, "A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. وَلَقَدْ دَبَّتْ رَسُولٌ مِّن قَبْلِكَ فَصَبَّرُوا عَلَى مَا كَذَّبُوا وَعَوْدُوا." Meaning, verily, the messenger were denied before you, but with patience they bore the denial and they were hurt, and nothing. And so what is dealing with is that here it's talking about. It says, and here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He says, "Ma yaqulu laka illa ma qad qila li rasuli min qablika inna rabbaka ladu maghfirata wa du iqabin excuse me iqabin alim." Nothing is said to you except what was said to the messengers before you. Verily, your Lord is the possessor of forgiveness and also the possessors of painful punishment. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, here's when He deals with, and He says, وكذلك جعلنا لكل نبي عدوا من المجرمين. Thus we have made every prophet an enemy among the criminals. Waraka bin Naufal radiallahu said to Allah's messenger, none came with what you came with, but he was the subject of enmity. You know, Waraka, when Aisha radiallahu brought, understanding the Prophet, what he was going through and his experience, she took him to her uncle Waraka, and this is what he was saying. This is the advice that he gave the Prophet and the warning. And then he says the enmity, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is when he says shayatina insan. Shayateen among mankind refers to adawa, enemies, meaning the Prophet ﷺ have enemies among the devils of mankind and the devils of the jinns. Again, the prophets have enemies among the devils of man and the devils of jinn. And the word, as it says, shaitan, describes one who is dissimilar to his kind due to his or her wickedness. Indeed, only the shayateen, may Allah humiliate and curse them, are from among mankind, and the jinns oppose the messenger of Allah. And it says Abdul Razak said, Abdul Razak said that Ma'mar narrated that Qadada commented on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala statement when he says, Shayatina insani wajin. Shaitan, the devils among mankind, meaning there are devils among the jinns and devils among mankind who what? Inspire each other. So they all work in conjunction. They work in cahoots with each other. The jinns, the demons, and the human shaitans, the human devils, meaning people who are engrossed in that, and they take advice, they take their inspiration, they take their leadership from the jinns, the whisperings and so forth of the jinn. This is important for us, my brothers. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he says, yuhid ba'duhum illa ba'di zukhrafal qawli gha'rur. Inspiring, it says, when it talks about inspiring each other, that statement, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, inspiring one another with adorned speech and delusion. And that means, according to Tafsir, it means they inspire each other with beautified, adorned speech that deceives the ignorant who hear it. SubhanAllah. And you can see, the people who lead others astray are very articulate. They're very skillful as a magician. They're very skillful in their speech, and they're very persuasive. The shaitan came to our parents and said, I am a sincere advisor. Take me. I'm a sincere advisor. It doesn't come to you like when things are whispered to you. When things are whispered to you, they're not whispered to you in like the Hollywood version of the devil, with a rashy voice and and a horrible voice. No, it comes to you in your voice. When something is coming to you, whispering to you, it's in a familiar voice. It's in a voice that you're familiar with, and that it's not strange to you. So it's very persuasive when these things come to you, because it comes to you in your own liking, And then I want to end here, and then I'm going to again build up on it. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says here, وَلَوْ شَاءَ رَبُّكَ مَا فَعَلُوهُ. If your Lord had so willed, they would not have done it. And it says, for all this, the Tafsir says, for all this occurs by Allah's decree, will, and decision that every prophet had enemies from these devils. So I want to leave you. I'm going to stop here. I want to build up on it. There's so much that I've done research with it, and I've done it before, but I think because of what's happening around us, Muslims are being deluded. And my last thing is that I made a I gave a presentation on making the case on why the Muslims, not just people in general, but Muslims will accept Masih ad-Dajjal, where they will follow. The Prophet ﷺ said, he said the believers, he said believers, according to the hadith, he said the believers will go out to the Dajjal. And the reason is knowing, and it says, knowing he is a liar, and he is the Dajjal, and he is the one whom Allah and his messenger and all prophets, as-salatu had warned us against. But they will go out to him. Why? Because it says that some of them will say, well, we got to eat. Because, again, the Dajjal is going to come with the treasures of the earth. He's going to come with the material wealth. And again, that's why it says in one hand he comes with Jannah, and his Jannah is the hellfire. And the other hand, he comes with fire, and his fire for the Muslim, for the believers, is the Jannah. And an interpretation, according to the Shuruk, an interpretation is that because he comes with the treasures, it's going to take a certain individual to resist the fact that the fitna and the affliction that the Dajjal is going to come with, or the luxuries and the pleasures and the adornments and the attractions of the adornments and luxury that he's going to come with. For a believer, it's easy for that believer. He's got to be a certain level, though. It's a certain special individual that's going to resist that, because if you resist it, if you resist the Dajjal and the lure and the things that he's coming with in his system, then he's going to rain fire on you. That means that you're going to be on the wrong side of the Dajjal, which will be on the right side of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the resistance, that means you're going to suffer. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. May Allah protect us and give us, protection from the suffering and the fitna of the Dajjal, and the machination of the Dajjal. So resisting the Dajjal means that you're going to suffer, right? But resisting the Dajjal is going to take a certain individual. So because if you're of weak faith, you'll compromise. So we have to, right now, it's coming. You can see it's unfolding. So right now we have the opportunity to condition ourselves, in terms of preparation, and making ourselves strong so that we can resist, so we can reach a high level, which Allah will be pleased with, and then we can surface, above, accepting of the job. But it's going to take, but we're going to suffer according to what the Quran and the Hadith says. But in that suffering, and enduring it, will be our inshallah, our Jannah. So inshallah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us. A'udhu billahi min ash-shayt. A'udhu billahi min al-Masih ad-Dajjal Yajuj wa Majuj wal kafirun wa zalimun wa fasikun wa mujrimun wa shayateen wa shaitan, wa jinn wa tagut. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we seek refuge with Allah from the Dajjal, from the Ma'asim of the Dajjal, from the kafir, the disbelievers, from the criminals, mujrimeen, from the jinn, from the shayateen, and from the taghut, from worshipping and the idols and so forth of the taghut, inshallah. So inshallah, brothers, I want to leave you there, and I hope, I want to build up on it, and I hope I've shared something like enlightenment. Inshallah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept, our ibadah. Inshallah, may we get close to because our weapon is to get close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and increasing your ibadah, not only fard, sunnah, but nawafil. And we have plenty examples from the Messenger of Allah, so that how these things should be performed so that we can get closer to Allah. The mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is upon the Messenger of Allah. He is the epitome of Allah's mercy. And if we follow in his footsteps, then we can attract the mercy and forgiveness and protection of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, inshallah. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik, nashhadu wa la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.